Atlantia vivere. My dear Atlanteans, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear compatriots and countrymen, my dear friends, as hours draw near and I'm forced to stay at home with no money whatsoever, and I'm drinking water and I have little else to eat. In fact, I have quite a lot to eat, but many of these things are past their time now. I begin to understand. I'm only a few hours away from the completion of the test of Agartha, from the completion of those 655.8 days, which means 565.8 plus 90 days, or 15 cycles of 37.72 days each. The defeat of Kali. I know when the energy of death was implemented, the energy of Agartha. It was implemented into me on 16th of January 2013 at my birthday, where Princess Mihaela was at 5 a.m. in the morning of 17th of January 2013. So, in a few hours, Raluca, who represented the unmanifest nature, or maybe the manifest nature, told me that I have to wait until the 4th of November this year. She told me that on 30th of January 2013. Why is this important? Because today is the last day in Interregnum Dios, and perhaps, maybe certainly, it will be the breakup of the path of the gods. I understand Artemis. I understand Britney Spears. I understand my sister. I understand that she is pulled up and down by the same strings which keep me in place. Atlantia is a society of ethical beings, that ethical beings want ethics. They are powerful beings. They have 100% power, but very few ethics. Now that we have receded to our capital and we have let barbarians to invade us, to invade our lands, and for 6,000 years we have the knowledge, but we don't have the means, the power, because all this ethical stuff we cannot think about in negative terms because of the past. And so all things are interconnected. Those ethical beings want to be left alone to ascend to a 4D quantum continuum, but in a way they cannot do this, because being bound in 3D, they are bound to victories and defeat and to their own ethical purpose. And until we break this bound into our mind, until we break the bound between money and power, between power and ethics, we cannot go forward. Until we are ready to accept our defeat as victories, it is written in Bhagavad Gita, do not care about what is happening. If your actions, what are the fruits of our actions? They are glory or defeat. Just do them, because that is the things which must be done. And today I am also torn apart between the duty to myself and the duty to Atlantis. I realize that the Agarthans are our allies and Jews are our natural enemies. Why? Because the Jews are the creation of both Atlantia and Lemuria, and they are bad guarded in the Western Europe, although the Westerners have guarded and severed political correctness and clouded their judgments with their political correctness. They don't want to see the truth. And the truth is that they have killed the Jews, because the Jews, as well as Hungarians, because the Hungarians, the white people, were conquered by Mongols. They do not represent a pure version of the white race, and that is why they were destroyed and marginalized. The Jews are, in the eyes of Atlanteans, worse than the people of the red race, black race, or yellow race, because they also are a reminder of our own faults and withdrawals from the Holy Land and the loss of crusades and other things. But now, when I'm thinking about Klaus Johannes or Johannes, I'm thinking about my children, the children of Odette Clara Weinrauch, who is also half Hungarian, half German, half Jewish, and her father was a Jew. She was my girlfriend. She made 2 children for me in 2007. I'm thinking about my children, if they are going to be raised in the Jewish tradition, just like probably Klaus Johannes was, while he retained his German origins. They will be torn apart like many white people which I have seen crying after their fathers, because the father figure is a central figure in the Lemurian tradition which was exported in the Jewish state. And so without me they will be torn apart. And I have seen people being torn apart. People who are half Jewish and half Romanians. And I wish to speak today about these things, because I must tell you now, I have received the vote from abroad. Victor Ponta was voted by the people of North Korea with 60 to 40% in front of Klaus Johannes. Even in North Korea, not everyone preferred him. In Afghanistan, in Iran, in Iraq, in Somalia, while Klaus Johannes won the vote in New Zealand, in USA, in UK, in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, where we have most of our citizens. We have a duty of respect towards our citizens, because there are many millions of Romanians voting abroad, but they are not permitted to vote through correspondence, through letters, through emails. My project to implement e-Romania together with Elena Udrea was a failure. They did not have the money and the will to make the damn fucking servers, the Oracle servers or the IBM servers, which have to connect all our virtual reality, and then we will have no more need for the parliament or the government or the president, and they know this. They know that if they implement the virtual voting, the virtual democracy where everyone can propose a law and vote for them, then parliament will be no more and government will be no more. Because we shall express our collective will as Atlanteans. And so I want, in my last day, to implement. I want to use the privilege. What do you want in your last day? Well, I want this to be implemented until the second round of election. All those 11 million Romanians, however, because only 161,000 are voting at huge arrays at our embassy. We do not have the diplomatic strength to make more consulates in other towns in Italy, Spain, UK, Germany, and other places. And so, and the USA, and so only 161,000 Romanians who live and work abroad outside the borders of Romania have the possibility to vote, and this is a possibility which is guaranteed by the Constitution of Atlantis, which says that all Atlantean citizens, no matter in what galaxy they reside, even if they reside in a galaxy controlled by the Anunnaki or the Lemurians, or in a star system controlled by other star races, they should have the possibility either to return home with a flying saucer. If they lack such a material possibility, then they should have the possibility to vote at home. And so I want, first of all, to allow voting through correspondence, to allow voting through email. There is something called the digital signature. You can find it on the net, which allows people to be uniquely identified, or through Facebook. They identify with their Facebook account. And they vote only once, not multiple times. They also, if they send physical letters, then the address can be verified. Yes, there will be some people who will send 1 million letters or 5 or 10 letters, but they can easily be found. Also, the declaration on responsibility that people must declare that on special cases, on special section that they will not vote twice or 3 times or thrice, have to be nullified, because we have an act, a penal act. There is written between 6 months and 5 years of prison for any person who votes multiple times at the same elections. And so there is no need to also write and sign a redundant act, which takes up 11 minutes and more, because it must be written down at that section, voting section. You can download from the net, complete it at home, go it with you, or take it with you, or not write it down at all, because it is very unlikely that people who are voting abroad and travel hundreds of miles to do this will have special planes or flying saucers waiting for them to take them into another part of the world. And of course these things also can be verified. We have computerized systems. The names of people who are voting must be written down in a computer, and they can be checked in a global database, because we have the internet, and hopefully in Romania, the virtual platform, which allows for the unique identification. I know this facility exists. In cooperation with Oracle, IBM and Sun, we have made this possible. Only the system has not been inaugurated. The parliament will not be destroyed so easily. You will still have a few years, and besides, if a revolution comes out of your own stupidity now, does it matter how much money you have amassed, and you will not have a full mandate at all. And it pains me to say, Victor Ponta is a very good king of Agart. I have seen him today defending the rights of the people abroad to vote. I have not speciesism against him for being a unicellular bacteria, blah blah blah. I know that the people of Agart are great people. But I must say that the core of our war 50,000 years ago with Agart, and it was a stupid decision to destroy us with nuclear weapons and to blame each other. That war came from the fact that people of Agart and Nicolae Ceausescu destroy democracy in Atlantis. They don't realize this, because they believe that they're doing the right thing. They believe, well, I know I'm king, I'm emperor, I'm tsar, I have the right to do whatever I want because I am a primordial cell, and as all primordial cell, all the other cells must belong to me. But we are multicellular beings, we are not cells, and this creates a conflict between us. Victor Ponta, if he is elected, you must not let him be elected president of Romania. I have already told Princess Mihaela if he doesn't win from the first round, and I have told her on January 2013 when she posed my question, yes, he will get 40% to 30% now. What must we choose? A unicellular being or a Jew? Tough choice. Well, half Jew, because half is German. But this is not the issue. Also, Georgia Meyer must not be allowed to be governor of Romania, prime minister, because I heard people from the CIA tell me we don't trust Romania because you have done many stupid shit, and so the only way in which you must become your colony and our slaves and trust you as our partners, so-called partners, is to have a CIA agent like George Meyer becoming prime minister. But if he becomes proconsul, then our society will be destroyed, because no one will trust him. Everyone here knows everything about everyone else. We are all spies, and therefore no one will ever tell him anything. No one will trust him, and the government will be non-existent. Victor Ponta will be at the same time president, king, and prime minister. This is against democracy, and our society will be destroyed. Now we are not going to have a nuclear war, blah blah blah. We are going to have a revolution or a coup d'etat or something nasty. Maybe this is a good lesson for us, a lesson for us. I know that Chiana Sârbu seeks to control Victor Ponta. She's an auntie, and she speaks to me. She says everything will be alright. Ethical beings do not see very far into the future. But I must say this. Artemis, my dear Brittany, do not be so ashamed. If you don't like what I said, that I want to marry you to make me a lot of children, then cast it aside. If you don't like what I said, that you must give me $10,000, cast it aside. But do not cast aside your own soul, your own desires. Express your own desires. Listen to the Venice Roman. Liberty is all for us. We live in our liberty, in our fake idea of liberty, perhaps, but this is our illusion which gives us life, and the dragons and the bacteria do not understand this. We must have this illusion in order to proceed. So, yes, I believe I think the second round, if we add the percentages of Tăricianu, Elena Udrea, and Vacovei, they will have 18% plus 30%, 48% for Iohannis versus 40% for Ponta, or Iohannis will likely win. And then we'll have another discussion. Will we allow a Jew to run Romania? Then we need to have a Romanian running Israel, something like this. Besides, on the 18th, maybe Iohannis will be dismissed, and then we'll have a third round between Ponta and Tăricianu, because Ponta has paid a lot of buses not to vote for him. He said, don't vote for me, vote for Tăricianu. Why? In order to allow his friend Tăricianu to get into the third place, because he knows, he already said, because he's a prosecutor and he knows the law, that there are overwhelming evidences against Iohannis, and no matter how much he postpones it, as a good Jew, the Supreme Court will dismiss, he will declare him incompatible. What happens if the Supreme Court will declare Victor Ponta to be incompatible? Well, then 70% of our society is stupid. They have voted for two people, but we can live with that. We can live with that. I must be impartial, but I cannot be impartial in my last day, the last night of ultima noapte lui Mihai cel Mare, the last night of Michael the Brave. He was a Lemuria. So, Atlantia vivere, Agartha vivere, Lemuria vivere, Shambhala vivere. I respect all of us, but we must also respect the constitution of Atlantis, the laws of Atlantis, and our holy people. Yes, I am Apollo. Yes, I know that you treat gods like shit and you don't care about us, but we care about you. If you don't us, we want you. And that's it. Bye. My last message.